Ben Simmons wants out of Philadelphia, but I will tell you how Ben Simmons could actually accidentally ruin a different career by demanding a trade out of Philadelphia right after the bumper. What's good, good people? Jeff Lightsy Jr. here with the Black Boss channel and Victory Formation. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell because we upload every single day. Now, Ben Simmons has made it clear he will never play for the Philadelphia 76ers again. All the reports are out. Ben Simmons says he's willing to take this into training camp. He says he's willing to, get out of here. And there are 3 teams that he wants to be traded to. They're the 3 California teams. It's the Sacramento Kings. It is, 3 California teams. The Golden State Warriors. And what was that last one? It wasn't the Lakers. It wasn't the Clippers. But, 3 teams out in Cali. We're going to read some from this article out of Yahoo Sports. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, guys. Thumbs up on your way in. And we're going to talk about it and leave your comments because we're going to be really interactive in this one. So, it says Ben Simmons wants out of Philly. Some Philly reporter reports Keith Pompey, the 76ers point guard, who was widely criticized for his performance during the Philadelphia second-round playoff loss to Atlanta Hawks, told team brass, including head coach Doc Rivers and president of basketball operations, Daryl Morey, last week he doesn't want to play for the team anymore, according to the report. He does not intend to report to the team's training camp, per the report. The 76ers have actively sought to trade Simmons this offseason, but haven't found a team willing to part with the, quote, King's ransom Morey seeks in return, according to the report, and a source told Pompey that, quote, there is so much bad blood between Simmons and the 76ers. It's no secret that the 76ers have been shopping Simmons. Knowledge that he diminished trade value. Teams do not want to overpay for the player the 76ers are actively trying to trade. Simmons is 25, coming off his 3rd All-Star appearance and his 2nd All-Defensive selection in 4 NBA seasons, but the shooting woes are very, very discouraging. So, Ben Simmons, he's on his way out of Philly. Once again, no shocker there. This is a no-brainer. This is something that we all seen coming. As the report said, the Philly's been shopping Ben Simmons for, the entire offseason. Nothing about that is surprising. What is surprising? Now, this is the kicker. This is the kicker. I'm going to show you this tweet that I saw that makes this very, 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 because I knew that there was one person behind a lot of this Ben Simmons trade talk finally deciding, hey, I want out of Philly, and that was Rich Paul. Rich Paul, as we all know, was the power agent in the NBA. Rich Paul, as we all know, NBA brass and NBA circles are not fans of Rich Paul. This is no secret. None of this is ever a secret. Rich Paul represents a lot of things that teams in the NBA do not like. He's young, he's charismatic, he's black, he has all the connections, he has big-time clients, and he is a tough negotiator. He's a very tough negotiator. Now, according to reports, and this is I'm gonna show you another reporter who has this tweet out that says when Simmons gets traded, it's going to be a package deal. Now, what do you mean by a package deal? According to this reporter and several others, source, there is a high chance that Tyrese Maxey, point guard on the Philadelphia 76ers, Tyrese Maxey will be a part of any Ben Simmons trade. Rich Paul, who is the agent for both Ben Simmons and the agent for Tyrese Maxey, wants both of his clients out of Philadelphia. Rich Paul, who is the agent for both Ben Simmons and Tyrese Maxey, wants both of his clients out of Philly. Now, this is a dangerous game Rich Paul is playing. Why? Why is this a dangerous game he's playing? Well, one, it's a freaking boss move. That's what this is. If you're willing to take on, because essentially is Rich Paul and Clutch Mafia, shout out to Clutch Mafia, versus the Philadelphia 76ers. Who is going to balk first? We know Ben Simmons is out of there. There's no question. There's no doubt. There's not a doubt in anybody's mind that Ben Simmons will not suit up for the Philadelphia 76ers next season. What is pretty crazy is the fact that Rich is trying to get both of his clients out of Philly. He is trying to get not only Ben Simmons, but also Tyrese Maxey out of Philly. Now, this is crazy because this could potentially hinder Tyrese Maxey. This could potentially hurt Tyrese Maxey's career. Imagine if you're Tyrese Maxey, right? You're Tyrese Maxey. Whether Ben Simmons gets traded or not, you were going to have a significant role on the Philadelphia 76ers, a team that is a legit Eastern Conference contender. I'm not saying they're going to win the East, but they are a legit Eastern Conference contender. There's the Nets and then everybody else, but up there is Milwaukee and Philly. You imagine Philly and Atlanta. We ain't going to sleep on Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks after what they did. And if you're Tyrese Maxey, you saw yourself in that upper echelon or playing a significant role on this team, this year's team, in that upper echelon of one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. If this Rich Paul report is real and this Ben Simmons trade is real, your career is not only in the hands of Rich Paul, it's in the hands of Ben Simmons. It's in the freaking hands of Ben Simmons. And if I am Tyrese Maxey, there's no way in hell I want my career. I want to dictate the moves in my career. I don't want Rich Paul. You pay Rich Paul. Rich Paul doesn't pay you if you're Tyrese Maxey. So there's no way that I would allow Rich Paul and Ben Simmons to hinder my future. Because if Ben Simmons, he says he only wants to play for 3 California teams. The Warriors, Sacramento, and for some reason that third team is slipping my mind. But imagine if you're Tyrese Maxey and you get dealt to the freaking Kings because Ben Simmons don't want to shoot. Think about this. Tyrese Maxey shoot clean jumpers. Tyrese Maxey shot ain't broken. Tyrese Maxey ain't scared to shoot. Your career is drastically altered because Ben Simmons is scared to shoot the basketball. I mean, if I'm Maxey, I would be pissed. Leave your thoughts in the chat. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Would you not be mad if you're Tyrese Maxey and your career is dangling in the hands of Ben Simmons and Rich Paul? They're playing tug of war with your career? Now, I get it. Ben Simmons wants out of Philly. Hell, Philly was going to ship Ben Simmons out anyway. One of my buddies that I did work with named Ben, he was like, this is one of those, you can't fire me, I quit. We knew Ben Simmons wasn't coming back to Philly after that playoff performance. Ben Simmons did not show up against the Hawks. Ben Simmons was turning down layups. Not only was he not shooting, he was turning down freaking layups and was getting grilled by a real player in Trae Young. So we knew Ben Simmons, after that performance, couldn't show his face in the city of Philadelphia. That is no surprise. That's why they were actively shipping him. Like actively shipping him. Now, there's another kicker to all of this, right? There is another kicker to all of this. Remember when we were talking about how Nerlens Noel is suing Rich Paul because of that lawsuit, because he lost that money? Remember, just give you a backstory for those who don't know. Nerlens Noel is a player in the NBA. He was once represented by Rich Paul, but he turned down a 4-year, $70 million deal because he claims that Rich Paul told him that he could get him a $100 million deal. So he turned down 4 years, $70 million. Took a 1-year deal, gets hurt, and never makes up that that $70 million again. Those $70 million contracts are long gone. Nerlens Noel will never get that again. And so part of that, he's blaming that on Rich Paul. He's saying bad guidance from Rich Paul, even though Rich Paul wasn't his agent at the time, even though there's no proof of any of this. He's saying, hey, Rich Paul convinced me to leave my agent, turn down $70 million. I did that. He would get me a $100 million deal, and that's not what happened. Now, this is noteworthy because this is probably why Rich Paul wants both of his clients out of Philadelphia. Now, I don't know how well you can see this. Let me try to zoom in on this a little bit. Well, it's only let me zoom so much. So anyway, it says, this is a snippet from, I think, a Bleacher Report article. It says, Noel's case relies on the argument that Paul didn't act in Noel's best interest, that Paul had no part in pitching the center to the Thunder in 2018 and sufficiently market him to other teams the following season. The lawsuit claims Paul never informed Noel of Philly's interest in bringing him back. Listen to this. Nerlens Noel claims that Philly called Rich Paul to bring him in and play for the team. Nerlens is claiming that Rich Paul never told him that Philly called for his services. Think about this. Nerlens Noel is saying that Philly called Rich and was like, yo, we want to bring Nerlens in on our team, and that he never told Nerlens that this happened. The lawsuit claims that Paul never told Noel Philly's interest in bringing him back, that he later only heard from the intel from Coach Brett Brown, who said Philly's front office was unable to reach Paul. The 76ers and the team's coaching staff in particular were indeed interested in Noel before Philly ultimately shifted its pricier sights onto Al Horford. So think about this. Rich Paul and the Philadelphia 76ers brass, they have a bad history. They don't have a good history. Philly, the 76ers, their brass, their organization, their higher ups, and Rich Paul, they don't like each other. That's like water and oil. They do not get along. And so now you have Rich Paul's client, a big client of his, by the way. He's not Nerlens Noel. Ben Simmons is a huge client for Rich Paul. He's a 3-time All-Star. He's 25 years old. He just signed a $150 million contract. He's a big client for Rich Paul, and they hope to get another big-time deal. So remember we talked about Rich Paul getting 4% of some of these deals? That's a nice little chunk of change, 4% on a $150 million contract. That's pretty nice. He's going to take care of Ben. The fact that Ben wants out of Philly and Rich is trying to power broke getting Tyrese out is playing with fire, because Tyrese Maxey could have played a significant role on a high level team. If you let Ben Simmons get you shipped to Sacramento, now best case scenario, you go to Golden State, you won't get the time or the minutes that you want, but you get shipped to Golden State, you get to play with Clay and Draymond and Steph and Ben, and you make that happen. But if you get shipped to Sacramento with Ben Simmons as the core, because you got to send Halliburton, you got to send Buddy Hield, you got to send players to get players, right? So you're getting sent to Sacramento with you and Ben Simmons, potentially. That's not nothing I'd want. Nah, if I'm Tyrese Maxey, I'm like, hell no. Nah, you can't send me to Sacramento just because he wants out of Philly. I'm good with Philly. Philly ain't got no problems with me. They took a chance on me. They drafted me. Yeah, like you mentioned, Damian Fox and Bagley. But you got to send something back. I'm Tyrese Halliburton. I'm not letting Ben Simmons dictate my career. I'm not letting Rich Paul dictate my career. They work for you. Clutch works for Tyrese Maxey. Because think about this. I mean, you could really ruin your career with this. Now, the question is, leave your thoughts in the chat, leave your thoughts in the comments. Who balks first? Who blinks first? Will it be Philly? Because Philly's getting rid of Ben Simmons. Let's just put that out on the table. They're going to get rid of Ben Simmons. How much they get for Ben Simmons, I don't know. Because that playoff series, he was so bad that he lost a whole lot of stock. So they're going to get rid of Ben Simmons. Joel Embiid just re-signed a new deal. So Embiid's good to go. Who balks first? I know Philly didn't draft Tyrese Maxey to just trade him after 1 year, after he showed flashes and had a solid rookie season for a guy that didn't even play that much. So does Philly blink first and say, okay, Clutch Mafia, yeah, really the Mafia, we got to let him go? Or does Rich Paul and Tyrese Maxey blink first and say, all right, we get it. Y'all don't like Ben. Y'all like Tyrese. Tyrese will stay. Ben can go. Who blinks first? I'm not so sure. I am not so sure. Because I think Rich Paul doesn't make this call, doesn't make this move, doesn't put this. Because think about this. Anytime a story gets to the media, especially local media reporters, somebody told them. They was told that. These guys, like Rich Paul made some phone calls and leaked these stories to the media, right? So where there's smoke, there's fire. They leaked the story that Ben wasn't going to training camp. They leaked the story that Tyrese Maxey and Ben are a package deal. They leaked the story that Rich Paul wants both his clients out of Philly. This is not, like, we know all of this, right? So Rich is putting this out there. But is he going to actually rescind his trade demand essentially for both Ben and Tyrese Maxey? That's going to be huge. Ben Simmons in his career. Now, Michael Williams, shout out to Michael Williams. He says Ben has no leverage. No, Ben doesn't. He doesn't. You're right. But he is a very talented player. He is only 25 years old. He has his whole career ahead of him, and he has nice accolades. 3-time All-Star, 2-time All-Defensive Team, second place Defensive Player of the Year. You know, averages 15 and 10, essentially. So that's something. And you know, every coach, every whoever wants to say, get him in my system and I can make him better. Get him in my system and I can do something with him. I can do something with him that Philly wasn't doing. Philly wasn't doing that right. But see, the problem with that is you have to have a player that wants to work. You have to have a player that wants to grow. Yeah, Michael, you said no show of growth. You have to have a player that wants to grow. Now, I'm not saying Ben doesn't want to grow. I'm not saying Ben doesn't want to get better. But there's nothing in his game. There's nothing in his career that shows me that he does. There is nothing about Ben Simmons' career that shows me he wants to be a better player. And the fact, and this what puts it over the top, the fact that he only wants to play for 3 California teams lets me know his mind is on other things besides basketball. Now, I'm not saying you can't have a life outside of basketball, but if you want to be in California so bad, that lets me know you're worried about other stuff. That lets me know you're worried about the wrong stuff. Instead of getting your career on track after having the worst playoff series a star of your caliber has had in a while, you're worried about getting traded to a California team. You're not worried about just getting a fresh start, a contending team, a team that's going to do right by you when Philly didn't or whatever. You're worried about going to California. To me, that's just stupid. That shows me your mindset. That tells me where your head's at. That lets me know that you're not thinking about basketball. You're thinking about LA, lifestyle, California, sunny beaches, women, or whatever. That's not the recipe for an NBA superstar. Let's just be honest. That is not the recipe for an NBA superstar. Think about the superstars in the NBA right now. Whether it's LeBron James or Kawhi Leonard or Steph Curry or Damian Lillard or, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant, whoever. One thing about them, they love playing basketball. They do a lot of other stuff. You know what I'm saying? James Harden goes to, makes it rain in the club a lot. LeBron James just did Space Jam. You know what I'm saying? Steph Curry's on 1 million commercials. They do a lot of things outside of basketball. But they get it done on the court. They get it done. Kevin Durant has a podcast and getting interviewed and, you know what I'm saying, in the stock market out there in Silicon Valley. But when it comes to hooping, he's going to hoop. When it comes to playing ball, he takes his game to the next level when his team needs him the most. That's not the case. Even Joel Embiid, Ben's running mate in Philly, he's been out of shape a lot. He's a big social media guy. He likes to have fun. But when it comes to playing basketball, he wants to dominate you. He wants to be the best player on the court. Ben Simmons, the same cannot be said about Ben Simmons. The same cannot be said about Ben Simmons. Like I said, I just hope Tyrese Maxey isn't a casualty of Ben Simmons of the Ben Simmons 76ers beef. Because Tyrese Maxey, I believe, has a bright future. I believe Tyrese Maxey was a steal for the Sixers, drafting him in the 20s. I thought he should have been a late lottery, at least mid, 15, 16. Sixers got him at like 21 or something. I seen him play in college. I seen him play in the pros. Tyrese Maxey can't let Rich Paul and Ben Simmons take his career to Sacramento, because that ain't it. That organization. Ask De'Aaron Fox what it's like playing for the Kings right now. That's not the place to go. And Fox is better than Maxey. And he can't get nothing popping out in Sacramento. Tyrese Halliburton is really good. He can't get nothing popping in Sacramento. Nah. 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 Ben Simmons, it's going to be interesting to see who blinks first. Rich Paul or the 76ers? Are the Sixers able to deal Simmons and keep Maxey? Or does Rich Paul really run stuff the way he's making it seem he runs it in the NBA? I can't wait to see what happens, man. This is going to be a storyline we are going to be following, and we're going to keep up with right here on the Black Boss channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, I'm Jeff Lightsy Jr. with the Black Boss channel. For those of you on Facebook, I'm Jeff Lightsy Sports on Facebook. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Peace.